Renfield is a heavily gory and campy horror comedy that is all about silly and over-the-top effects more than anything else. With that being said though, it still had a surprisingly enjoyable story that I had a lot of fun with, and at certain points were also pretty exciting to watch. It might not be one of the best movies you'll ever watch, but it still served pretty fun as a popcorn flick not to be taken too seriously. As the name suggests, this movie tells the story of Renfield, a servant to the notorious and well-known Dracula, at least Nick Cage's version of it. And as he learns more and more about life outside of serving his master, he battles within his own internal morals and tries to figure out what's right and wrong. And I'd say that was actually very amusing and intriguing to watch unfold. Of course, along with the gory and over-the-top effects, flashy colors, and jokey dialogue. I mean, this movie had some pretty far-fetched parts, like things working out all too well for the protagonist and just an insane amount of blood loss in the action sequences. Almost reminds me of a game or something like that, like Saints Row, for example. Mostly the third and the fourth one, that is. Like, a lot of things in this movie just were so utterly ridiculous. Like, for example, the completely unnecessary amount of just gore and blood that splashes out of each victim that's getting decapitated and all that kind of shit. And also, for instance, in one example, where someone's shoulder just gets shot, right? And they're just kind of limping that shoulder. But then, like, a few seconds later, like, they're just able to pick up a phone with that same shoulder that got shot and just like was fine and okay the next scene. Like, at first they couldn't even move their shoulder, and then a couple of seconds later they were just able to move it just so easily like that. Man, I don't know why that scene stuck with me, but it just did. So you can tell, with all that being said, that this is a movie not to be taken too seriously. It's a horror comedy after all. It's a different take on Dracula, and when I heard Nick Cage was going to be Dracula in this one, I just knew it was going to be all fun and games. But like I said, man, this movie actually had a pretty interesting story. Most of it, for the most part, is pretty generic though. Like, oh, they need to stop this crime lord from taking over the city, blah, 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 blah. You know, there were a lot of heists and a lot of, drug usage and stuff like that. That's why I say it kind of reminds me of like Saints Row, the third and fourth one mostly. But I was still digging it, and it's in the name too. This is a story about Renfield. It was enjoyable seeing him struggle with his identity, finding himself, about who he wants to be, and the end result was kind of unexpected for me. Then again, I didn't really watch the trailer or knew too much going into this one. All I knew was that Nick Cage was going to be Dracula, and that fucking sold it for me. Man. But I mean, this movie, man, tell you the truth, like, this movie only actually releases in Australia on the 25th of May, but I'm pretty sure it already released in like most major countries, or at least in America, like a month ago, or around 3 weeks to a month ago. It actually came out online on the internet here before it hits cinemas, which is unfortunate. Like, towards the end, I kind of wished that I would have been able to watch this in theaters. I'm still able to, but like, I'd rather get this review up earlier. But like I was saying, because towards the end, there was this one part where the lights kept flashing on and off, and you really didn't really know what to expect or what was going to happen, and it was pretty suspenseful. And yeah, like, that would have been pretty cool to experience in cinemas. Ultimately, Renfield is Nick Cage's comedic spin on Dracula. The other Nick Holt, was great as the main lead, and yeah, it was just an overall entertaining and gory watch, not to be taken too seriously, and I had a decent time with it. Unfortunately, since I didn't watch this movie in cinemas, and it's technically like a month old or something like that, yeah, normally when I review movies, I always try to review it when it first releases, right? But sometimes it's hard because not every movie is available in my country first. It's always America first. God damn it. That's why I kind of want to move there. But anyway, that's besides the point. But yeah, because I didn't watch this movie in cinemas, and because it's already technically an old movie in my books, this review is a bit short. And I just basically sum it up instead of give a more in-detailed approach. But it is what it is. I'm going to give Renfield a B. I heard that this movie got pretty good reviews at first, but then got kind of review bombed. Like it was like an 80% and then it dropped down to like a 50% or something like that. Look, it's a good one. It's like a one-off. I had a good time with it, but it definitely, like I said in the beginning, not like the best movie you'll ever see or one that will kind of stick with you. It's just one of those movies that you kind of just watch to pass the time. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think down below. Actually, you know what? Before I move on, before I do my outro, I'm not a big fan of Dracula. While watching this movie, I kind of thought that I might need to brush on my Dracula knowledge, or maybe this was like a remake of some kind of original or something. So take of it what you will, right? Of what I say in this one. I guess this is why this review is a bit short. It's because, you know, I'm not even into Dracula or all that kind of stuff. But it was kind of fun, you know, seeing the different kind of techniques, you know, Dracula uses, all those different powers, as well as Nick Hoult as Renfield. And the movie kind of gets a bit emotional. You can see it tries. It doesn't get... There are two emotional aspects in this one with Renfield's character and one with, you know, the Awkwafina who plays this police officer. I'm not going to say which one is which, but one of them does get a bit emotional. The other one tries too hard to get emotional, but doesn't really deliver. But anyway, yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Like and sub if you enjoyed, and as always, feel free to check out any of my previous videos. Until next time.